I have a feeling this video reaches a large enough audience, it's going to trigger some people, but honestly, I don't give a shit. There's always going to be a culture of people who are going to make courses about something they've done and tell other people to make courses about that thing that they've done to prove that, they know how to make courses. So when it comes to like the money making courses, it will be people who made money by making courses, telling other people to make courses to make money from making courses. And it's the same thing that's happened on self-improvement, but in terms of YouTube as well, where it's like, you can meditate and you can journal and you can go talk to women and you can go to the gym. And when people do a few reps of those things, a bit of volume of those things, they will then come onto YouTube and take the other course that person has on YouTube and then use that to blow themselves up on YouTube. And then they'll make a course on all of those things that they've learned from that other person on YouTube. And the thing is, you have a circular flow of information where you're not actually going to learn something new, but you're just kind of transferring different pieces of information across. So as you have a circular flow of income, such as in our economy, where you have a certain amount of money flying around in a circle, which it's not literally flying around in a circle, but that's the idea that they have of it. It's that, but instead of having injections and leakages, you don't have any of that. You have no injections and you have no leakages. You just have a certain amount of money which is flowing around in a circle, constantly going to everyone else. And that's what's happening with self-improvement, is that you have the same amount of information going in circles constantly with everyone else. There's no level of creativity, there's no level of new information, there's nothing new being learned or being taught. The one thing that I've noticed that I've been doing that I found that I hate about a lot of the new self-improvement YouTubers who are coming out ever since Hampton made that one video saying, you guys, you should make a self-improvement YouTube channel because, I'm kind of bored up here. That's basically what he's saying, and I want competition. But he's trying to make sure that you feel like that you have a purpose, that you feel like that you're doing something, that you feel like you're improving, when in reality you're not really doing anything. And first of all, you're basically acting off a sandcastle. You're not acting off a strong enough foundation to even move forward enough. So when people start their channels and they go like, oh, why is it not growing? Or why am I not getting bigger? It's because there's not enough foundation for you to grow. There's a thing Hormozy said when he talked about the parallel between building muscle in the gym and content creation, where essentially people will do a few reps and a bit of volume and then try to hit their peak. The one thing I learned from powerlifting is that you'll try to do a 6-week program and then you do a peak to get to your strength. So you work and work and work and work. Lots of volume, lots of reps, lots of trial and error to eventually get to the point where you're peaking and then you'll peak. You'll hit the strongest. And so there's a large gap and then there's only a little bit of a peak. But that peak, the longer your gap is, the bigger your peak will be. The stronger you'll be by the end. So it's the same with content creation, where people will do some reps and some volume and then go for their peak, so they won't even hit that much of a peak. So they're doing 1 inch of volume to hit a 1 inch of peak. Whereas, as we talked about bodybuilding, powerlifting, the bigger your peak, the bigger your volume, the bigger you're digging to build your foundation, the bigger your peak. So with content creation, the longer you go across to build your foundation. So if people need to go a mile wide so that they can go a mile high instead of going an inch wide and an inch high. The one thing all these self-improvement YouTubers lack, and I won't lie, including myself when I made a bunch of my old videos, is that we lacked the foundation to even talk about our things that we're talking about. We did maybe a bit of volume of what everyone was talking about so that we could talk about it and talk to a smaller demographic of audience so that some people would appeal to us and then we would grow. Think about this, right? It's that Hamza created this massive audience. He has 2 million followers. But now, if you do it, you will never reach that level of success because he's already done it. No one remembers who came 2nd, 3rd, 4th place in the Olympics. This is one thing that I've caught myself on, and I'm not very happy about it, where it's that I have done enough, right? I've done quite a lot into self-improvement, where I meditate for maybe 6-7 months in a row now. I've done my journaling. I've stopped fapping as much. I've been going to the gym for years now. I was going to the gym before it became such a massive thing. Yet there is not enough for me that I've built upon myself to talk about, to build an audience from, to build content from. Which is why I don't expect my channel to grow. Which is why I don't expect myself to be doing better on YouTube. I haven't done the things necessary to build a good enough audience, to build a good enough foundation to build a good enough audience. That's what I meant. The fact that masculinity can be sold to you is such a weird concept to understand, because masculinity is a thing, it's a trait that you get from doing the right things. It's like when you think to caveman times, we always relate it back to caveman times. Like, oh, this was great at caveman times, we should bring it back. It's not about bringing it back. You can't do certain things to become like cavemen. Cavemen did certain things to be cavemen. Like, they became masculine because they just did the basic things necessary. And we've forgotten the basics. We've gone on to like so much. This is how you increase your testosterone, man, and this is how this is how you approach a woman. But we never really think about the difficult things, and we don't actually do the things that we're scared of and the things that we're worried about, and we don't actually do the difficult things. We just sit around in that circular flow of information and think we're improving, but we're not. Staying in the same place has got to be the most degenerative thing that you can ever do, because there's only ever movement backwards. There's aging and there's suffering. So if you are to stay in that circular flow of self-improvement, not actually move forward, so essentially you linear out. You had this little bit of growth because of self-improvement, so you've had a linear growth, but then you level out like here, and you've leveled out. So if you're in stasis, you're in a period of stasis where you're not improving and you're not doing better, you're only going to have aging, and you're only going to have suffering. Which means no matter how long you stay in this area, you're going to degrade. You're not improving. If anything, you're regressing. And yeah, I'm aware these videos can be of inspiration to people who are trying to improve themselves, and it could be that one little click for someone to not kill themselves, or for someone to stop masturbating, or for someone to implement the good habits into their life, or to fix their relationship with their parents. I understand that this can be a plot of inspiration. But then when you think about it as a whole, there's a lot of basic information that is just put out and sold to you as a sense of masculinity or increasing testosterone, when in reality all these things that they're telling you is just baseline human things that we should be doing. Before, we were in the negative step where we weren't doing the right things. We were on like level -3. And now putting back in the habits that we should be doing as humans anyways, we've now gone to level 0. And now we're stuck on level 0. And we don't know what to do from this point on. It's not hard to get in your head that, okay, I need to go to the gym, I need to exercise and get bigger. I need to keep my mind straight and stay off apps such as TikTok and not watch porn. It's like, you do those things, you outgrow most self-improvement YouTubers anyways. There's always going to be a culture where we go too much into detail of the things that we need to do. But if we come back to the basics, where the basics, the poster boy of fucking masculinity being Fight Club, if we go back to the basics of that, and this isn't like a Fight Club fanatic, oh guys, I'm a Fight Club fan, I've watched the film once, but if we go back to that, where it's literally that self-improvement is masturbation. And it is. If you think about it, in that circular flow of information, you're constantly thinking that you're improving when you're just stuck in the same place with the hope of a greater reward. But there is no greater reward. You're stuck in the same place. My thoughts on self-improvement YouTubers right now at the time is very, very basic. Most people have not got the credentials to speak on the things they're speaking about. And a lot of people haven't done enough volume, enough reps to speak about what they're talking about. And yeah, that may include me on certain topics as well. I think I can still talk about the gym. I think I can still talk about talking to girls or making friends. But when it comes to other things, like say, journaling, I haven't done that for very long. Or meditation, I've done that for 6-7 months. I haven't done it for very long. I think on a time scale basis, you should be doing these things for 2-3 years. Build something on top of that, build something else, and then bring that to YouTube and bring that value to the people, to your audience. And if you haven't got that foundation, you haven't built up enough on that, then what's the point? Because you're just kind of giving them bleak, vague information that's not really going to help them, but it might give them like a bit of dopamine, because they might think, oh, I haven't done this, now I might do this. But you haven't even done that enough to know if it works. I could be speaking to a mirror right now, and I am telling this to myself, where it's like I haven't done this a long enough time frame and built enough of the things I would like to build to bring enough value to you. I don't see myself uploading a video or 2 videos every single day because it doesn't seem like authentic information, doesn't seem like proper value. I don't want to join this entire masturbation masculinity cycle that exists, where people are just making self-improvement YouTube channels thinking that they can provide value and they can get as big as Hamza on YouTube just because they're talking about self-improvement. That's not going to happen. You need to do something. You have to make something of yourself before you can bring it to an audience and present value to other people. That's what I have to say on it. And if your opinion differs, I don't give a fuck, bro. Like, honestly, this is exactly what's happening. And if you don't believe that, you'll get to it at one point. Sooner or later, you'll realize how stupid this entire masculinity cycle is. And maybe there's a bit of value to it, where it's helping some people move forward from like the really, really bottom of the barrel baseline levels. But if you are like me, where you have done these activities and you don't know where to go now, you'll realize the absolute insincerity out of the entire self-improvement culture. It's time to move on from all these fanatics about journaling and meditation, and keep doing these things, but it's to actually move on to the things that actually matter and actually put the effort in the work that is required to be done, instead of sitting around in a circle thinking that if I do these meditation journaling hacks, bro, if I hack my testosterone, I'll improve. Because that's not going to happen. Do the hard things. Do the hard tasks. Do the things that are scary, the things that seem difficult to you. And that's how you regain masculinity. Thank you for listening to me. Go get that shit.